She didn't fall for your looks. She didn't fall for your money. She fell the moment she realized you were the only man who actually listened, and that changes everything. But not for the reason you think. If you're a young man who's confused why older women seem drawn to you, or why younger women feel unpredictable and exhausting, this video is for you. And if you're a young woman trying to understand why emotional presence suddenly matters more than excitement or attention, this is for you too. Modern dating feels loud, fast, and shallow. Everyone's talking, everyone's performing, almost no one is listening, and that's where the confusion starts. Today, you're going to learn why listening creates deep attraction in older women, what's actually happening psychologically when it works, and how this skill, when grounded in self-worth and boundaries, can transform how people experience you, not by trying harder, but by becoming calmer, more present, more grounded. Let's break it down. Why older women feel seen. When you listen, most men underestimate how rare real listening is. Not polite nodding, not waiting for your turn to speak, not problem solving. I mean presence. Here's the truth. Older women have spent years being talked over, minimized, misunderstood, or emotionally managed. They've dated men who needed fixing, needed validation, needed attention, needed control. So when a man sits across from her and doesn't interrupt her emotional flow, something unfamiliar happens. Her nervous system relaxes. That's not romance. That's biology. Listening signals safety. And safety is the foundation of deep attraction, especially for women who've already experienced chaos dressed up as excitement. Picture this. She's talking about her past relationship. You don't rush to reassure her. You don't compete with her story. You don't give advice. You just say, "Sounds like you had to be strong for a long time." Pause. Her eyes soften. Her voice slows. That moment isn't about words. It's about being felt. Older women are not impressed by flash. They're impressed by emotional accuracy. When you listen well, you're saying, "I'm not threatened by your depth. I'm not rushing you. I can hold space without collapsing." That's attractive because it's rare. But here's the twist most people miss. Listening only creates attraction when it comes from wholeness, not neediness. If you listen to be liked, she feels it. If you listen to earn approval, she feels it. If you listen to manipulate, she definitely feels it. Real listening comes from self-trust, and older women can tell the difference instantly. They're not responding to the act, they're responding to the state behind it. Which brings us to the deeper layer, the psychology behind why listening feels intimate. Listening isn't passive, it's leadership. When you listen without reacting, fixing, or proving, you're regulating the emotional space. That's powerful. Psychologically, this does three things. First, it mirrors emotional maturity. You're signaling, "I can handle complexity. I don't need to dominate the moment. I trust myself enough to stay present." Older women are especially sensitive to this because they've learned, often the hard way, that emotional instability costs time, energy, and peace. Second, it creates polarity. When you're calm and grounded, she doesn't have to perform. She doesn't have to entertain you. She doesn't have to impress you. She doesn't have to manage your emotions. That relief feels intimate, and intimacy creates attraction, not through intensity, but through connection. Third, it awakens something many women haven't felt in years, being chosen without being consumed. When you listen without attachment, you're not chasing her emotions, you're witnessing them. That tells her, "I want you, but I don't need you to be a certain way for me to stay grounded." That's magnetic. But here's the critical boundary. Listening is not self-abandonment. You're not absorbing her pain. You're not becoming her therapist. You're not losing your center. You're standing with her, not disappearing into her. That's the difference between attraction and emotional burnout. And older women, especially emotionally intelligent ones, respect that distinction deeply. Which leads to the final, most important piece. How to listen without losing your power. This is where most people get it wrong. They hear, listening creates attraction, and turn into emotional doormats. That kills attraction instantly. Powerful listening comes from boundaries. Here's how it works in real life. You listen fully, but you don't rush intimacy. You're present, but you don't overinvest. You're engaged, but you don't chase. You allow silence. Silence is underrated. Silence gives her space to reveal, not perform. And when she does open up, you respond with clarity, not over-empathy. Instead of, "That must have been so hard. I can't imagine." You say, "That explains a lot about how you move." Simple, grounded, observant. You're not merging emotions. You're recognizing patterns. That positions you as someone with depth, not someone seeking approval. And here's the paradox. The less you try to be impressive, the more impressive your presence becomes. Older women are drawn to men who don't rush outcomes, don't fear emotions, don't need validation. Listening becomes attractive because it reflects inner stability, and stability is rare in a world addicted to stimulation. When you master this, something shifts. People open up faster, conversations deepen naturally, attraction builds without force, not because you're doing something, but because you're no longer leaking energy. You're centered. And that's the core lesson. Listening isn't a technique. It's a reflection of who you are. So here's the question I want you to sit with and answer in the comments. When was the last time someone truly listened to you? And how did it change how you felt about them? If this gave you clarity, subscribe for more grounded psychological insight on attraction, confidence, and human behavior. And if you know someone who's trying too hard to be noticed instead of learning how to be felt, share this with them. Because sometimes the most powerful move isn't speaking louder, it's listening deeper.